The purpose of this video is to give a brief overview of the steps needed to set up an instance of our server on AWS, our server and RStudio server. Now you can build this from the ground up without any, you can basically do it on your own as a normal sysadmin would. However, Amazon has made it really easy for you to bypass a lot of the headaches associated with it. So what they do is through their AWS marketplace, there are offerings for things such as the Bitfusion Ubuntu 14 Scientific Computing instance, which basically comes with all the goodies that you possibly could want, and has many additional packages that are included along with it, and the configuration of the server basically equips you to be ready to go. And what you see here is that the additional cost associated with this software is very affordable relative to the overall cost. So it's a very nominal additional fee. So I have found that to be far better than some of the other tutorials on there on how to set up your own instance, which because I don't have a very good sysadmin background or anything like that, and I just want to do data science work, this has seemed to me to be the most straightforward way to go. So we'll go ahead and do this. When you launch it, you basically can configure it how you want. There's only one real point of pre-work that you will need to do prior to setting up by deploying this instance, and that is having created an AWS key, which you can do from within the EC2 console separately. So what we'll do is we'll just select one that I've already designated, and you can see it even provides a cost estimator for you, and then we'll go ahead and launch it. And if we then go over into the to our instances console, you can see that it's spinning up here. And while it's doing that, I'll go ahead and explain how we're going to access this this machine. So the default way to access this machine is with that security key through the SSH port that is opened up, and the syntax for that is, there's the name of my key, and then you need to specify the user, which in this case, because it's an Ubuntu instance, is going to be Ubuntu. And then we'll paste the public DNS of that instance. And why oh why? Why all the hate? Okay, so I'm not sure why it did that the first time, but I think it might not have been configured appropriately. Okay, so in this particular instance, the default password for the Ubuntu user is just going to be the instance ID. It's probably not what we want to leave it as, because that is a security risk. So we'll just go ahead and change that real quick, and I'll provide a new password. So now we've updated the password. So SSH is useful for transferring files or doing server level manipulation. However, to actually access the RStudio client, which we've just set up on this machine, we're instead going to access it slightly differently. What we will do is we'll take the public DNS for that machine, and we're going to go over the port 8787, and it does take a moment because it is a smaller this micro instance. Okay, so now we can log in with Ubuntu and the password that you just set it as. There we go. And again, because this is a smaller machine, it doesn't work as fast, but for larger instances, it'll definitely work much more quickly. Okay, so you see that here is your RStudio environment on this machine. A couple things to note is that you can use this interface to actually upload files to this server. The only consideration and why I might discourage that is port 8787 is an unencrypted port, meaning that all traffic that flows through it is flowing through it in the form of plain text. So you would be better off doing an SCP from the command line to your home directory here on the instance, which will allow it to be transmitted in an encrypted fashion rather than using this interface. There are ways around that. That to make it more encrypted, you could change the port that the RStudio process is listening on. But for now, I would just recommend using if you don't know how to do an SCP, just Google that instead. So that is just a brief overview of how to set up an RStudio instance on AWS.